Sometimes you're going to see a log that does not have a base listed, and you're going to wonder, what is the base? What does that mean? Okay, so the first type of log with no base listed is called a common log. And you're definitely going to see a button on your calculator that says log, and that's this log because there's no base there. So the common log with no base listed is a log with base equal to 10. Okay, it's just such a commonly used one. They wanted to have one that was standard, and so the base is 10 if there's no no base listed. Okay, so in other words, if you had log of, let's say y, okay, that's the same as log base 10 of y. That's all it means, okay? So, for example, log 100, okay? If that says log 100, then that's saying the base is 10. So 10 to what power is equal to 100? Okay, what exponent gives 100 if the base was 10? So the answer is 2. If you're a little unsure how we just got 2, okay, think about this in exponential form. So that base is 10. So this is 10 to what power is equal to 100? So that value is 2, okay? If you have log of 1 over 10 or 1/10, okay, what exponent goes on 10 to make 1/10? The answer is -1. Okay, again, in exponential form, it would be 10 to what power is 1/10? So that power is -1. Okay, if we had log of 15, okay, then we would just, that's 10 to what power is 15? That's not an exact answer, right? Or not a whole number, I should say. So we would just type that into our calculator. So I want you to make sure you can find the log button on your calculator, type log, and then type 15. That's all you have to do. And you should get approximately 1.18, etc. Okay, so make sure that you can get that value using wherever your log button on your calculator is. Okay, the second type of log that does not have a base listed is called a natural log. Okay, so I don't know if you remember, but we already talked about the natural base and the natural exponential form, and that was e. And so that is a log with base is equal to e. Okay, now that instead of using log, they use the letters ln. It's like logarithm naturel. It might be French or possibly Latin. They switch the location of the adjective versus English, right? And many languages do that. So they, we would say natural log, right? But they would say log naturel. So that's ln, and then ln of y, let's say there's no base listed, is the same as log with a base of e of y. Okay, so we do want to basically memorize these two. It's pretty simple. There's only 2, I promise. But if there's no base listed, you definitely need to know what base they mean, okay? You should have an ln button on your calculator too. So you probably have a log button and an ln button. All right, so let's look at a few problems using the natural log. So let's look at natural log of e squared, okay? Now, you can type this in your calculator and you will get an answer if you can find the natural log button and the e button. Usually, the ln button is a button, and the E is the second, and then that button. Like you have to push second and then that button to get the E. So if we think about what this means, though, we actually don't need a calculator for this one, right? The base is E. Okay, so if we're looking for this side, right, then this would be E, and then switch the E squared and the X. So E to the X equals E squared. Okay, so in other words, E to the X is E to the second. So X is equal to 2. So the answer to this problem is just 2. Okay. If we have the natural log of 6 divided by 5, okay, that we would just type into our calculator. It's not going to be an exact answer, but the reason that I want you to try it is you probably need to put a parentheses around this 6. Otherwise, it's going to do 6 divided by 5, and it won't divide the whole thing by 5. Okay, so when you do that, you should be getting about 0.358. So if you're not, then do take a look at those parentheses, okay? That is different than the natural log of 6/5. Okay, so this would be the other way to do it, the natural log of 6/5, and then the whole 6/5 is in that parentheses, and that is about 0.182. Sorry, here, I'm gonna erase that. I'm annoyed that I'm like behind my own little picture. I have to look at like too many things at once sometimes. So that's 6/5, and that is approximately 0.182. So a little bit about common logs and natural logs.